You can hear the constructions of homes being built in the distance. Last year in 2025, we had, or this year 2025, and 2024, we had various hurricanes, fires was burning through. And all these areas on fire, burning. And of course, and this is December, and according to the scientists, December is the hottest month in the year. Hello. This is Wentworth B. Manson, your host, Blueprint Migration Podcast. And as I was saying before, in 2024 and 2025, man, 2024 was a hot time. In the back there, the host homes were not there. Some way in the back were building. And places would build in the Caribbean pine forest or forest in general. That's a dangerous thing. You must, if you can build, you must go and check out the surveys and make sure you know where to build. Don't just go build anywhere, because what happened is they build here, and like I said, in 2024, before these resources was here, maybe that blue one in the back there was there per se. But what happens is this was on fire, and every year the Caribbean pine trees is on fire. And just like in the United States and North America and Australia, which is now, fires on fire. Because what happens is the Caribbean pine trees, people call it fireproof. But the trees, the trees need the fire. Fires are a cleansing process. And so what happens is, like I said earlier, fires was all raging here. Raging. The fire engine was parked back and forth, outing fires, back and forth, outing fires. And then one day, I saw this beam of light, like the sun rays, like how the sun is shining right now through the clouds. There was a ray of light came down, like in them movie, how them guys just press their button and they disappear and come up and go to different planets and so forth, and different places, or go back on the ship. What happened is there was a beam of light came down, like when you take a magnifying glass and you look down on it, you see that stream of energy coming through the magnifying glass and burning. I saw this smoke like a fire, like a tornado just spinning over in the distance, way up there in the distance. And so I said to myself, I stood here. I was on the same corner in my vehicle looking, and I saw it coming down from the clouds. Then I saw the thing start smoking, spinning like a little tornado smoking in the distance. And then I waited for a while, but I didn't see no smoke. And it looked like smoke turning up, like the wind, like how the little twisters come on the land. But I didn't see anything. So what I did was, I waited for a while, and since I didn't see no fire, I went. And when I came back, the whole place was on fire. Fire was all over. And so you may ask, where was the fire? The fire was, like I said, the in the ground, because what happens earlier that same year, on the ground, I can see like how I'm looking on the road, and the road normally how that heat coming up from it, of the ground in the regular grass area, I can see the steam, the updraft flying up, steaming. So the ground was extremely hot. And so all you needed was wind. And what happened is wind got the oxygen in it. And what happened is the wind spin around and lit that a fire. And then, of course, fire started jumping. And as you can see now, where we are here, we got a Caribbean pine forest in the Bahamas. Then we also got a coppice forest. Now, coppice normally is the other trees. Now, I don't want to put the camera in the sun so you get, so other things. So again, but the fire came through, it was burning. And so when I say coppice tree, these particular species of trees up here will normally be coppice trees. They are different species from the Caribbean pine trees. Now, let's say, for example, even in Australia has various different species of pine trees, and they are, like I said, they're on fire. But the reason why it is burning is because the pine got a lot of sap in it. And Australia got different types of, different from the horsetail tree. They got different species of horsetail trees. We call it in Nassau normally, and they call it casuarina trees. They got different species of casuarina trees, and they got a different species, but then it got a lot of resin in it. And when you got resin is like gasoline. That's fire prone. So once that temperature gets hot enough, that fire starts. and then the fire starts because the fire needs to gather at the wood of the trees. So the wood of the trees need to be broken down, and so from the wood of the trees and the bark of the trees become charcoal. And then what happens, like what the fire does, when the fire does it, what the fire does, it's like taking a candle. When you take a candle and you want it to stick on something, you take the match and light at the bottom, and you see how that candle wax will melt and drop on the ground, and then you can stick the candle on it hot. That's similar like how what happened is to the trees. The trees, when the trees burn, it burns from the bottom, and once it burns from the bottom, and then it start to melt, and what happened is the resin comes out, and that ignite the fire. And the trees are burned, like in the Bahamas, our pine trees normally burns, like I said, burns from the bottom, and some one or two may burn straight to the top of the crown of the tree. But normally they burn at least about 6 feet or so up, and they stop. And then what happens is the bark of the tree, because every bark is totally different, the bark of the tree splits, and you can see the veins in the tree like a drainage, and all that wax will drain right out the tree and drain down into the ground, and then the builders will use it to build land. Like I said, you always hear me talk about the builders, and you keep wondering, when is he going to talk about who these builders are? Never. I give you everything. I don't get paid from YouTube. YouTube do not pay me. All of these episodes that I'm giving you, they're especially free. This is but what I've been doing research and understand and giving to you. I don't be paid. I don't have no. So if you want to hear and if you want to learn more about it, you need to take the course. Down in the description, I got different courses that you can take. You can get a better understanding. I got courses on climate change. I call it climate change like baking off a cake. It's a recipe, a climate change recipe. Once you know how a cake is done, now you got different species of cakes, different variation of cakes. But then I got to show you that, break down to you why that is, what the process of it, and how we really could reverse it. It could be reversed, but then is man going to listen? And then no time, we just throw it on fossil fuel and so forth. But I will show you some other things to show you that, hey, that is different. Like I said, look, I catch my attention. You see how long this is? See how long this is? This is called a ramon tree, species of tree. These are also fine growing here. These are also known as coppice trees. So again, here it is with the fires. Fires normally, like I said, fires in the Bahamas. When we have the fires, like how you got that Caribbean tree there, you can see that there. And then you see on the other side, we got Caribbean pine trees, and you got coppice, and you got Caribbean pine trees, and you got coppice. Got coppice all in mixed in it. So let me go out a little bit further so that you can see, get a better view of what I'm talking about as I'm walking through the community. So you can get a better view. You see these are what we call coppice trees, larger trees. Now, when you look at in Australia has their own forests, their ecosystems, their own trees, and like I said, when you see dry limbs and dry leaves and everything, all that is for burning process. All that breaks down, make charcoal. The land needs that. That is all but building land. Again, places them will lose their lives and homes. People lose their homes and so forth. And like I always said, it's not the fire's fault. You happen to build in the wrong environment, and you create a problem. So it's important to notice. So again, these are the various species of trees that you'll be seeing lying down. All of them for purpose. They're not just there because you see it there. You see a bunch of dry trees here for no purpose. Clean it down. No, all will be broken down. All will be broken down and become topsoil, fertilizer for all of the underbrush, all of the various species of grass and weeds that you find growing. And every island, every place around the world got their own species of grass, species of weed, and they're all species of, like I saw a brother on one of the programs talk about that all the places where you see medicine trees growing are for the healing of the people. Like the Bible says, what? The leaves are for the healing of the nation or for the people. The nations is in the leaves, in the weeds, in the twigs, and different things. So it's important. So again, when you look at this, you can see cast many trees here. And as I look all around here, this was a road run straight through here. and all this would have been hill. And they would have had this cut down to put this road here. But like I said, back here. So now, like I said, so when you go back to Australia got various different species of trees, like we have here in the Bahamas. They have their various species of pine trees. Now all trees come from the kingdom of plantae, meaning that all need water to survive. All need water to survive. Some live a little bit of salt water, but they still need fresh water to survive, right? And so what happens is, and I know that what I'm giving you, this knowledge, you don't get this from the other places. They don't teach this like this, right? As far as they're concerned, this isn't really important. But like I said, like the trees plays a very important part in the ecosystem. So like I said, in Australia, the pine trees, they are the ones, and the other species of trees that are not necessarily pine trees, but they got a lot of sap in it, a lot of sap in terms of resin under the bark, under the skin. Like if you cut yourself and I cut myself, we start to bleed. That blood, that resin, and then once it dries, so it becomes thick and hard. Like when you get cut, your hand, the blood becomes thick and hard. It congeals together. The same thing with the trees. So what happened is all that resin in those trees leaks into the ground, and that, like I said, that also fuels the fire, and the fire start burning. Like I said, persons lost their life in the fires. Firemen would lose their lives and so forth. But then the fires have to burn it for a reason, and persons will understand or asking, why is it always burning? It have to be burned. It's a cycle. It has to be a repeated cycle. You remember, there's a story in the Bible they talk about in Rome. They talk about Rome used to have a fire that always be lit. They call it Gehenna. They had to throw all the refuge in there, and that always was on fire. It always burning. So every year, every cycle is for building process. Everything will be broken down and make fertilizers. And if there were no builders, like how you got an engineering core of your construction site, like how them people are building those homes at the back there, that's an engineering core. But the same thing happens here. In the environment, there's a core of builders. There's various different species of builders, but all have their own basic skills and what they do in building of land and so forth. And so fires are alive. The builders are alive. Everything is alive. The wind is alive. Oxygen is alive. Everything is alive. So again, I want you to like, subscribe, and share, because this is a very productive lecture. And this is solo podcast. I don't know no speech, I don't have no scripts, I don't write no scripts, because once you know your subject matter, you don't need no scripts. You need no scripts. You never learn it. So again, here it is. As we get a little closer, we have ferns. You see these ferns here? Now these ferns, person will say, because normally these ferns here would normally be right close to castor trees or Caribbean pine trees. And what happens is, when fire ignites, they more closer and they burn. So people believe the fern is the one. No, fern is also only added material to burn. Just like all the other trees are only added materials. And the same thing with Australia, the same thing in the United States. They all are for a purpose. To make more fuel, to make more charcoal, to make more different minerals for the ground, and for strength, and for you, and for me, right? And the building of land. That's what it's for, the building of land. Like I said, you hear places saying that we don't have sufficient land, we don't have enough land. That's a lie. That's a lie. We have sufficient land. You think God would have created everything and didn't make provisions to have more land? Land has been built every second, every day, 24 hours a day, every day, every second. Land is being built. But what happened is, just like money, like somebody said, there's enough money to make everybody a millionaire. What happened is, the money is in the wrong hands. Everybody gets it. The same thing with land. The land that the government takes and collect all the land for themselves, and they hold it for them. Some hold it for them and their families. Some hold it for whatever reasons, but then they ain't necessarily giving it to the people. But that's a sufficient land. Even let's say in New Providence, Nassau, Bahamas. Even though that have the majority of the people from all of the family islands living in New Providence, and there's still sufficient land. There's more land. There's more undeveloped land than what is developed. I always remember a friend of mine. He was in real estate. He always said that to me. Boy, there's more undeveloped land in Nassau than what is developed. Like I said, what happens is in the wrong hands. So it is building land. So when you see fires happening, fires is the process of building land, but there's a process of how it's done. Like I said again, places in Australia, firemen in different places around the world, they died because they're trying to out the fires and so forth for getting into communities and so forth. And then, like I said, people live and build their homes in the wrong places. Be careful of where you build your homes, because when you build your homes in the wrong places and fire happens, they get up in smoke. And if you try to save your things and you don't get out in time, you too will lose your life. So again, it is important to know where to build. Now, if you're going to build in the forest, you make sure you have a clearance around you that so if fire comes, it would not destroy your homes. But then if a fire wants to, because what happens is, what the fire is behind? The fire is behind the land, the ground. The ground, that is behind the ground. Because there's some purpose or some things that they need to continually to build up and make stronger. And it's behind that piece of land, and if your house is there, your house will normally go up too. So again, like, subscribe, and share. This has been Renfred Manson. See you next time. Like, subscribe, and share. Goodbye.